G'day folks, and welcome to Down Dusty Roads. My name is Colin, and on my channel I document my rides mainly in the Great and Little Karoo, but also from further afield as time allows. Today's ride takes us from Graaff Reinet, the beautiful town of Graaff Reinet, to the amazing little village of Nieu Bethesda, one of my all-time favorite Karoo villages, or any village really, towns. What a magical place. I'm not 100% sure yet what the plan is for the next few days, other than I'll probably be in and around Nieu Bethesda tomorrow. Show you around the town a bit, go and do the owl house, and show you the magnificent old church. I've been inside that church once, and if I remember correctly, I'll try and Google it and make sure, but if I remember correctly, the lights in that church are still gas operated. Quite something. This here on the right is the start of the multiple farms that join up into one massive farm that belongs to Johan Rupert. Yeah, so there where we turn right, if not the first farm, then the second farm, I think. Can't remember exactly, but certainly one of those first few farms. Along that road is a farm called St. Olives. It's also one of the Rupert's farms. An absolutely magnificent, or magnificently restored homestead on that farm. The place has actually been turned into a training academy, so this is where I'm going to turn off. And yeah, so these herders get trained at the St. Olives place. So this is all Rupert's on the right here. And then St. Olives actually extends across the road as well. It's also on the left hand side. So the owl route, of course, is a sort of a touristy thing to bring people to Nieu Bethesda. This looks like there's a tractor ahead of us here. I think this might be St. Olives. Aberdeen Academy, yeah, St. Olives. There you go. So the farmstead is at the base of the mountain. Those trees, you probably can't see it there, but there at the base of those mountains where those trees are, underneath that mast, that's where the farmstead is. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's been so magically restored. And then, as I say, in the attic, they've got quarters, like probably the old barn, if I remember correctly, was converted into accommodation. And then, as I say, they're bringing these guys, and it's a herding academy there.
Okay, so just to go back to our route for the day, coming out of Graaff Reinet, there are a number of ways that you can get to Nieu Bethesda. The way we're going to be going is up towards Murraysburg, and then at the top of the Oudeberg Pass, we'll take a right onto a gravel road, which is the one that we're on right now. And this road takes us on to Nieu Bethesda. This road is one of the roads that forms the Owl Route, which is a series of roads around Nieu Bethesda, taking the traveller through some truly beautiful Karoo landscapes. Nieu Bethesda is of course mostly known because of Helen Martin's, her owl house, and the story of her life. Born in Nieu Bethesda in 1897, Helen was the youngest of 6 children. Those days they could afford to have lots of kids. She was educated in Graaff Reinet, but returned to Nieu Bethesda in, I think it was 1928, to take care of her frail parents. She had a troubled relationship with her father, and had moved him into an outside room of her house, which she later named the Lion's Den. Its walls and ceilings were painted black. So that tells you something about their relationship, I guess. After her parents had died, she then looked to transform her home as a reflection of her quest to to bring wonder, magic and light into her existence. Using colourful crushed and ground glass, she covered the walls, ceilings and windows of her house in order to bathe her home in multicoloured hues of light. Once her house was completed, she turned to her garden, and there, with the help of Koos Malchus, together they developed techniques for working with cement and glass and covered her garden in cement and glass sculptures. At 78, crippled by arthritis and suffering increased loss of vision due to her working with the ground glass, Helen took her own life by drinking a mixture containing caustic soda. She was found and rushed to hospital in Graaff Reinet, but she died 3 days later. I think it must have been a pretty awful death.
This scenery here reminds me of parts of the Eastern Free State. Very similar sort of look and feel. And sort of towards Vicksburg area that way.
So a little bit more about Nieu Bethesda as a town. Nieu Bethesda was founded in 1875 as a church town on the farm 8 Cake within the well-watered valley of the Groot River. The town boasts a beautiful Dutch Reformed church, the cornerstone of which was laid in February, I think it was, of 1905, and whose lights are still operated by the use of piped gas. I did mention earlier that I was pretty sure that the church's lights were operated with gas, and yes, that is correct, they are. Unlikely as it seems, the dry Karoo was once a vast inland sea, and this fact, together with the fact that the Karoo is as old as time, has meant that there have been the discovery of many fossils, especially in the Nieu Bethesda area. Renowned paleontologist Andrew Bain, not of road building fame, lived in the area from 1822, and it was here that he discovered the fossil of a large jaw filled with teeth, which he named the Blinkwater monster. The fossils found in this area have a largely unbroken 50 million year fossil record, covering the period from 240 to 190 million years ago, showing the evolutionary pathways and patterns of different animal groups through time. Nieu Bethesda is really a magical little town, and it's definitely worth making the effort to go and experience. Some years ago I nearly bought a piece of ground in the town with the intention of building myself a house. In the end I didn't do so for various reasons, but I do still like to make regular visits to the town. It is one of my very favourite Karoo towns.
People that say the Karoo is flat need to come to this part of the world. I mean, significantly higher altitude-wise than we were in Graaff Reinet. Graaff Reinet gets cold in the winter, but here it gets bitterly cold. In Nieu Bethesda, you can have snow on the ground regularly. So we take a right here. An irrigation channel there across the road, and it's now on the right hand side here somewhere. So here we go right again. Yeah, left to the Kompasberg. That may well be a ride that I do together with Antonie. Last 5 or so k's into town. The magic of Nieu Bethesda. So drop down now into Nieu Bethesda. There's the town in the distance. Okay, folks, we are arriving in Nieu Bethesda. Really atmospheric place, this. Generally, the most traffic you'll see is herd of sheep come walking past, or a couple of horses. So I'm pretty sure our place is down here on the left, just before you go down into the river. I think this is where I'm staying tonight. I think it's this place on the left. Yeah, here we go. Until next time, folks, thanks for travelling along. Hallo. 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 Goeiemiddag. Engels of Afrikaans? Afrikaans. Goeiemiddag, ek is Colin.
Chrissy, aangenaam.
Hallo Chrissy, aangenaam. Sorry, ek is nou 'n bietjie laat, maar
Jy staan in die hoek, hy sê as jy om die draai gaan.
okay, so ek gaan hier om.
En dan sal jy sien in die hoek is die huis.